Hey again, I'm Marc Snetiker of Entertainment Weekly, and I'm joined as always by my partner over here, Orlando Jones, who brings Mr. Nancy to life. Tonight we will be discussing the season finale of American Gods, Come to Jesus.
Okay, before we dive in, let's get this out of the way for the last time. We're about to discuss the episode in depth. So if you have not seen it, this is your official spoiler alert.
The following program.
Modern style.
Now, that said, you are not going to believe the group we have got for you tonight. I actually can't even believe it still. The couch has officially overflown with talent. We have Ian McShane, Ricky Whittle, Emily Browning, Yetide Badaki. Help me out here.
Hey, Pablo, Scheriber, Bryan Fuller, Michael Green, and here for the first time, executive producer, author of the award-winning novel this incredible series is based on, the one, the only, Neil Gaiman! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Oh my God. Neil, what is it like for you to see the season finale, be here with all of these wild people who brought your book to life?
It is brain-boggling, delightful, always very amusing.
Very loud.
They're very loud. You should watch them eat. You do need to watch them eat.
They don't use their mouths.
They're terrifying.
Overrated.
But no, it's wonderful, and what's lovely is just for me is watching the world out there, discovering American Gods, and they keep running to me and telling me that they've discovered the show and how good it is, and I'll go on Twitter and there's Anne Rice going, I just saw the first two episodes of American Gods. It's amazing. Now I've ordered the book, and I'm like, life goals done.
So, Bryan, Michael, what was the feat in crafting this season finale? Pretty much everybody here were left on quite a big cliffhanger for everyone. What was the feat in wrapping all of these things up?
Going over budget, needing to cutting an episode, and ending early on episode 8.
But on purpose.
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, it was actually on purpose. They phoned me up. Michael was on the phone. He was like, well, things have just changed, and what was going to be the final episode isn't, so now it's the one before. Have you got any good ideas on how we can end it? And we just brainstormed, and we chatted, and it was wonderful for me, suggesting that a revelation about Ian's character that had been made rather earlier in the series now moved to there as our sort of, here you go, this is a nice emotional moment to end on.
Yeah.
And episode 4 originally had Ian's big speech about Wednesday. And what we discovered is that it completely killed the rest of Shadow's journey because he found out everything in episode 4. So we pulled that out. Unfortunately, there were good reasons to cut it beyond just the arc of the character. So when we were talking about, do we refilm it or do we just lose it? And then we said, well, if we lose it, then we can move that arc to the end of the episode and it becomes the whole arc of the season, and it was something that felt like it was more designed to be what we ended up doing than what we had originally intended to do.
Sure. Now, Ian, the Odin of it all, that big booming Odin, how many times did you record that Odin?
My secret is out.
Which one?
I got him to believe.
And then f***ing wife turns up. Where is it?
Hi.
I love that's what the episode should be called.
So what should we make of the big reveal that Bilquis has been turned, I suppose, is the way to put it?
Well, we've been providing clues all along as to how she was getting her gods, and any savvy audience member would know that there's a tie-in to the new gods. So Bilquis is a bit of a double agent.
Goes back to the first moment we met her. She's holding her phone and
But even with the little clues, and like even considering the fact that I'm like part of the show and have read all the scripts, still when Tech Boy got out of the limo, I was like,
I think it's one of the things that I love, though, because in the novel, you get, essentially, Bilquis's story is you don't get very much of it, and it is ended by the technical boy. And what is fun for me in this, what's fun for me in this is like, okay, well, we are taking those elements, we are rolling them into play, and now that Bilquis is a much bigger character, we have a whole story arc for her, we have a whole story arc for the technical boy, and how it plays out, learning for all of us how it's going to play out and how that is or isn't going to relate to the version of the story in the novel is going to be an adventure.
Yeah. Now, let's throw it out to the Easter of it all. Kristen Chenoweth is not here.
Mary, check
So
the
she will
pockets,
now
everyone.
be played by Pablo.
Yeah. Who has the best Easter story? Who had the best Chenoweth interaction of the group?
All of us, maybe?
I think
You're being pointed at, Ricky.
Ricky, didn't you?
Watching those two
didn't
flirt is like the
You
cutest thing I've ever
wallpapered her
seen.
trailer with your face.
I mean, well, he did that to a few people.
I did that
It's kind of his thing. Yeah.
I just want people to make sure they know who I am. You know? I don't want to be walking on set and be like, listen, dude, you need to move on. Tryouts are down the road, field to the left. Quarterback, what do you want, right? Wide receiver, you know, actor. So.
It was the week before that he wallpapered my trailer with his face, and then kindly came and asked for his headshots back so I could get to Kristen. So
I'm saving budget. I was saving budget. That's expensive to get 200 pictures of yourself printed out. But no, we had a lot of fun. I mean, she's quite literally the biggest ball of sunshine you've ever met in your life.
Well, the
She's incredible.
tiniest ball of sunshine.
And
maybe.
she's the first person I've ever seen Emily look down to. Like, as in be taller. You know,
Well, like,
Emily's
like
actually taller.
literally, like not.
Literally, no,
I
because you look
wasn't,
down to
like-
me all the
yeah.
time. But you're actually taller.
I know, I felt like really.
I felt like I had two little, like tiny.
And her
beautiful,
dog died,
perfect dolls.
tragically,
Tragically.
on the first day on the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring it
I
down.
know it was.
It's
But,
dry.
no, it was. It was a
No.
really. John, she always thanked us for help. You know, she had somewhere to go because she was distraught. We've had a dog like that for God knows how many,
years,
14,
so many
15
years,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, really, it was kind of like a touching moment, and it was kind of, you know, when things like that happen, she's terrific, and she brought, really, on the last episode, she brought a lot of energy and vibrancy to a set that still had it, just about.
And that's so important. I mean, it was a huge 6-month shoot, and after everyone's put so much effort into this huge project, when someone like that comes along, sometimes you need a little.
No, it's
little
what I said
boost.
before
Yeah.
about like Corbin
And she
Burns.
does that.
When guest stars come in, and they buoy the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Well, especially with
Given that
Kristen,
it-
who's
that's-
just like
Boom, go for it. You know.
a magical.
Yeah,
little
and she's
unicorn.
so powerful.
It's
There
like
was
the
one
best
moment actually.
person ever.
There's one moment when she's chastising Mr. Wednesday, and I'm just in the background, just watching.
Way in
And
the
do you remember
background.
where she hit that note, the operatic
Oh,
note,
that was out of the
where
blue.
and she just literally
No,
she
yeah,
was
she
just
does
messing with different takes, and she was like, "Oh." And literally, windows rattle. She hit this operatic at the top of her lungs, and I don't know if I held my. Maybe that's why it's not in, because I didn't hold myself.
It's
I
going to be a
started
GIF.
laughing.
You're going to be able to post it.
Oh my god, it was incredible. But to hear Kristen swear.
She's the most
that
delightful
was
diva
strange.
you've
I
ever
was
met.
shocked.
I love that. Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's
The
what she
moment she entered my life, I didn't realize quite what was happening. We were at San Diego last year.
Yes.
We're traveling around. We've been doing interviews. I'm following Bryan into an elevator. And in the corner of the elevator were the two seediest people dressed as bunny rabbits I've ever seen.
They were dirty rabbits.
They were, and I'm going.
Why didn't we kill them in there?
We have two incredibly seedy. And are we being followed around by furries? What's going on?
I have the greatest photos of them with their helmets off eating lunch.
It was
terrifying.
And I couldn't figure out why they were there, and nobody's paying any attention to them. So I'm not paying any attention to them because maybe it's been a long San Diego. Maybe I'm just imagining them. And it isn't until we actually get to the panel, and Bryan sort of acknowledges, "Here are our bunnies, and by the way, we have Easter," and she came on. That the penny dropped on what had been happening.
One thing we haven't talked about and we have to talk about is media. Gillian Anderson,
Yes.
who is magical and wonderful and incredible. I didn't get a chance to work with her, so please, somebody.
I mean, I may have worked a couple of times with my good friend Gillian Anderson. Jill.
My favorite story, just to interrupt, is I've got to come in at this point. I've got to come in at this point because Ricky came in for the Lucy scene and was so excited to act opposite her and was saying, "I'm here to read lines because I didn't want you to read lines by yourself. I wanted you to have a face." And she's like, "I'm used to green screen. You don't need to be here." But thank you. And it was very sweet. But
and she's like, "I don't need you." I was like,
She sent you away.
Like that.
so she's like, "No, you're fine." Okay.
Was it, Ricky? Was it a relief for you to finally have Shadow say, "I believe in everything"? Was that a relief, kind of?
This is what's exciting is because that's the biggest cliffhanger. He's literally just turned himself over to Odin. He finally believed that this guy that he spent so much time with, he's been prodding him and poking him this whole time, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I get it. I believe. I've been awoken. And he's kind of invested into this god, this man. And all this time, he's been conspiring, and he's the reason for all his kind of pain throughout this whole journey.
Bryan, Michael, as the kind of puppet masters for this entire amazing season, what surprised you now that we're at the end of this?
That we got to the end.
What stands out as a surprise or caught you off guard moment?
biggest beautiful surprise was the family that this cast has worked so hard to create, and we feel very proud to be a part of that, because it sucks when actors don't get along, and it creates, you know, all sorts of stress. But with this cast, which is a very big, sprawling cast, they clearly love each other, and that was a beautiful surprise for us.
It is one of the most awesome things about the show. We're in a constant, like, we're like kids. It's ridiculous. Like, we're punching each other.
But it's also why it takes like 40 minutes to get an interview started, because we're just like yelling over each other.
So?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
When you start a project like this, you know, there's usually one asshole. And if you haven't found him or her after 2 weeks, it might be you.
But luckily we haven't found out yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there is another story, but that's for another time.
Well, with that, this is, I guess, our farewell for now to some of these characters. Bryan, Michael, what should we be thinking about these characters until we see them again?
You should be very worried for Shadow Moon.
Why? What's
I think
going
we all are.
Be afraid.
What did you do? What did you do?
Well, that wraps it all up. This whole first season, Orlando.
That's crazy.
Both myself and Orlando, we would like to thank Ian McShane, Ricky Whittle, Emily Browning, Yetide Badaki, Pablo Scheriber, Bryan Fuller, Michael Green, and Neil Gaiman for joining us here tonight. And of course, a big thanks to all of you for watching, right?
Absolutely. Take care. And the most important thanks of all, to our parents who had sex and made us so that we could do this for you.